By the way, she was one of my very first people to interview me when I was a candidate in 2009. You remember that? Okay, so I just thought I'd mention that. Look, I think, what does the campaign need to do? I think they're doing it. I've been very impressed that the Biden campaign has recognized that there are gettable Republicans out there, that it doesn't mean that Joe Biden has to become somebody he's not to get those Republicans, but it's about reaching out and saying this is a tent where when we're defending democracy, you're welcome, no matter what your political stripes are. I think he's done a good job in pushing back against Russian aggression in Ukraine. And I got to tell you, the 20% of Nikki Haley voters, they are all about Ukraine defeating Russia. They understand the importance of the post-World War II order. National defense means something to them. And they're also not buying Donald Trump when he says, I've kept us out of World War III. Well, when you surrender to your enemy and give them everything they want, you're probably not going to end up in a war because they don't have to shoot a shot to get what they need. Donald Trump stood next to Vladimir Putin and said, I trust him over our intelligence agencies. What do you think that did to Putin standing at home? What do you think that did to the FSB? It gave them a huge boost. So I think Joe Biden showing his commitment to strong national defense, showing his commitment to democracy, and showing, frankly, that you're welcome, even if you're still a Republican, is a huge thing. As far as anything else, we'll see how this goes on. Do you guys want to add to that?
This election is going to be determined by the 10% that sit and look like Adam and I, that are Republicans and conservative in nature, but just don't have the stomach to vote for somebody like Donald Trump. They just have enough moral character in themselves to not gravitate towards him and his life in the gutter. And so I think it's important for us to be able to convince that 10%, because they're going to do one of several things. They're either going to stay home and sit on the couch and not vote for either one, or they're going to show up and they're going to vote for Joe Biden. And I think the opportunity here is, as a Republican, that we plan to have our party back to where it works and functions and operates and negotiates with Democrats and works with compromise. But to get that back, it has to be to get rid of Donald Trump. We've got to get rid of him. And I think for now, the Biden campaign is doing a good job of reaching out for individuals that look like us and talk like us and think like us and have campaigned as conservatives. But I think there's additional olive branches, I think, in looking at how we talk about this economy, because this is all going to come down to the economy. Being sensitive to be able to talk about both sides of the economy, which President Biden is doing. There's two sides. Some people wake up today and it's the worst economy they've ever faced. They can't afford rent or houses or groceries. Some are waking up in the greatest economy ever because their houses are worth more and their 401ks are worth more. So being sensitive to talk to both parts of that. And you're starting to see that messaging come out and abroad. The reality is this, Donald Trump can talk about all the spending and all the debt that Joe Biden has had on his almost 4 years of watch. Donald Trump spent $8 trillion we didn't have, right? He spent it because, and it wasn't just COVID related, he spent it because he was trying to buy off constituencies from coast to coast. And so Donald Trump shows up as a fake Republican. My job, Adam's job, and others that are trying to take on this mantle and give air cover to the millions of Republicans that don't want to vote for Donald Trump. They don't even want to like Donald Trump. And you said this the other night on TV, in 10 years, you'll be hard-pressed to find a Republican that even admits they voted for Donald Trump.